Hi, folks. How are you doing? May the peace of our Abba Father and the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Thanks for tuning in to our weekly chat. Today's verse is Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 to 21. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex, a stinking accumulation of mental and emotional garbage. Frenzied and joyless grabs for happiness, trinket gods, magic show religion, paranoia loneliness, cutthroat competition, or consuming yet never satisfied wants, a brutal temper, an impotence to love or be loved, divided homes and divided lives, small-minded and lopsided pursuits, the vicious habit of depersonalizing everyone into a rival, uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions, ugly parodies of community. I could go on. This isn't the first time I have warned you, you know. If you use your freedom this way, you will not inherit God's kingdom. Wow, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it? How much of that describes you? We have lived in our house for more than 25 years. In our neighborhood, we used to have gigantic trees adorning the sidewalks. They have provided a source of shade and comfort. I remember one time I saw a beehive on top of one of the trees on our side. And let me first give you a warning. Don't do what I did. I looked at the height, the angle, and propped a ladder up against a tree. I climbed up with a large garbage bag and foolishly, in hindsight of course foolishly, it seemed like a good idea at the time, I foolishly jumped off and reached for the beehive. I thought I could wrap it inside the garbage bag before I landed. I would save myself the embarrassment of telling you what had actually happened, but suffice it to say I did not succeed. Sadly, that tree, along with over 90% of the trees in the neighborhood, no longer exists. In their place are younger and therefore smaller trees, which will become majestic in another 20 years. Perhaps I will live to see them. So what happened to the original trees? They were invaded by a bug we didn't and couldn't see, and by the time we realized the trees were sick, the infestation had already spread throughout the neighborhood. Most of the trees had to be cut down. So it wasn't the fury of a storm, for example, Hurricane Sandy that struck us some time ago and felled a number of trees, one of which was in our backyard. It was invisible bugs that brought down these large trees. They kept eating their way from the inside, sapping the strength and life out of the trees, and by the time they made their way to the surface, it was too late for us to do anything about it other than to sadly cut these trees down to prevent further infestations to other trees. We are like those trees. There is a battle, and we are vigilant against the enemy's attack. We also rely on God for help. Like King Theoden of Rohan watching the enemy come in tokens the two towers, we stand guard. The fortress is strong, and the enemy cannot overcome him. At least not from a direct frontal attack. In arrogance, the king shouts to his enemy below, "Is this all you've got?" Many of you had seen the movie. You know the fortress was breached by a small opening from within the fortress itself. Our trees were also breached by these small bugs from the inside. In our own lives, it is the small things like anger, envy, fear, resentment, and even pettiness that eat us from the inside out. Like the trees in our neighborhood, these incessant little attacks add up and bring us down. I don't know much about trees. I don't know if they would survive if they had a yearly checkup. I do know that we can turn to God and ask Him to review any hidden bugs in us. Then we ask for His power to destroy them before they do further damage to us. No one is free from internal battles. If you think you are, good for you, but I would caution you to be careful of self-deception. At the end of this little chat, ask yourselves, What are my little internal battles that will knock me down? Is it anger, envy, fear? Ask the Spirit for illumination and for power to eradicate one of them right now. Be the majestic trees that provide comfort to others. You think about that. Be safe, be spirit-filled. Until next time, shalom, and have a meaningful day.